Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where each and every day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Nasyim Segal on the line, and she is the founder over at Omni Coaching. Nasyim, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Adam.
So I'm really excited to have you here today, and also, I mean, you got some new announcements, new programs coming out, Finding the Leader Within, the Cost of Stress in Business, so we're going to get into those and what you're doing there, but before we do, let's get a little bit further into your background. So how did you get started in your career and in business?
So my career trajectory is all over the map. I actually started in real estate, and that's where I spent the majority of my career youth, I guess. I was very successful in that business, and I did a lot of personal self-development in order to make sure that I could maintain a consistent level of production. And over the years, what I noticed is that there were a lot of people that I would interact with in the field who I felt they didn't have the same level of confidence that they could have, or that they weren't really showing up for themselves. And so I had a moment in time back in 2016 where just the stars aligned, and I said, you know what, I'm ready to step away from my comfort zone and really take a deep dive into helping other people build up their businesses and helping them, you know, refocus and gain more confidence in themselves. And so that led me on to coaching, and that's what I do today. I do one-on-one coaching as well as workshops, but really that's how I started. And through that process, I went to school, became a certified coach with the International Coaching Federation, and I also took a deep dive into neuroscience. So I spent a year studying the neuroscience of coaching and how your brain actually responds and reacts based on the different components and stressors and things that we all face in our day-to-day life. So that's how I got started. That's where I'm at right now.
That's a great transition. Let's just go right into Omni Coaching. So you mentioned you do some one-on-one coaching. Give us some more. What else do you do?
Absolutely. So Omni Coaching developed because I realized that, you know, coaching is so multifaceted, and people have this idea, Adam, that I'm one person at work, I'm another person at home, and that's not reality. Reality is that everywhere you go, there you are. So at the end of the day, Omni Coaching is all about helping executive business leaders and also high potential leadership. So for organizations that are trying to build up their leadership teams, it's to help them really find ways and takeaways through training, through coaching, to make sure that they are fully present, fully developed, fully engaged, and ready to take their businesses to the next level and grow revenue. And what we find over and over again is that, you know, 70% of the leadership teams out there think that they've got a great business culture. They feel like they're doing a fantastic job. Well, when you look at the employees that work for these organizations, 65% of them are saying that their stress level would be lower. They would do a lot more in terms of production if they could just get rid of their boss. So there's obviously a disconnect there, right? So what I do and the team of coaches that I work with, what we do is we really go in, we try to help organizations have, from a top-down perspective, get their leaders on board and make sure that they are not avoiding the things that they don't like to deal with, and they really start focusing in on what those subconscious blocks might be within themselves, but also within the organization. You know, there's a lot of times people have blind spots, and it could be a blind spot that's really preventing your company from growing. And so we try to help you get rid of those and really try to help, you know, on a one-to-one level, but also in group workshops and so forth. We also have some leadership retreats as well. Through that process, we're able to really help organizations grow.
So I want to get into these new programs. So finding the leader within, the cost of stress in business. Very exciting for 2020. Where do you want to begin?
So the cost of stress in business is really a brand new program. It's a workshop that we can do in a day, or we can break it out into longer programs. But what we're finding is that most organizations don't realize that there's about $300 billion a year lost in revenue because employees are so stressed out they either quit their job or they may be not able to produce the type of activity that needs to happen because they just can't function. So we're trying to help you recoup a portion of that $300 billion in your organizations by helping people understand not only what stress does directly to you, the person, the employee, but how to find ways, techniques, simple life hack type of exercises that you can do immediately in your workspace that's not disruptive to people around you to help manage stress levels. And it's a really needed program, so we're very excited about being able to roll this out this year. And then our Finding the Leader Within program is really a retreat-style workshop. It goes over the course of a few days. It's for your top-level executives to come in and, like it says, find the leader within, because, again, we find people aren't really showing up for themselves. And so what we do in this program is through a very skilled set of exercises, some of it taps into the neuroscience of how your brain likes to work. We help you overcome some of that and become more aware of those blind spots. It's highly effective. Is very impactful, and it's really an exceptional program. And then as a follow-up, we can do one-on-one coaching within the organization to make sure that momentum grows and that skill set continues to grow within the organization. So it's really about having your leadership become fully present, fully engaged, refocus their energy, which all of those things, if you can imagine having someone in your office that's fully engaged and totally productive, is only going to help you grow your revenue in the long run.
And so I don't want to oversimplify this, but I know there's some people that are listening in right now, and they're in their office, and they're like, wait a minute, did she say that there was a course called The Cost of Stress in Business, and it can be delivered in one day, and it has exercises that can help them? Yes, she did say that, number one, but number two, is there an exercise or something or a tip that you can give to the people that are in their office right now listening to this as we speak?
Yes, and it's very simple, and the tip is notice your breath. A lot of people who are stressed out, they stop breathing, or they do shallow breathing. And if you can actually take 3 to 5 very deep breaths in a sequence where you're holding your intake and holding your exhale breath about 10 to 20 seconds each time, you can actually get your brain to start slowly refocusing, and you can reduce your stress level instantaneously. You'll still have the stress there. It's not going to go away, whatever it is that's impacting you in the moment, but you'll be able to better manage it at the moment, and it'll help you to, again, reinvigorate your brain so that you can start coming up with new solutions to conquer the problems that you might be facing.
Man, just hearing you say that, I feel better. I didn't even know I was stressed. I feel good about it. and whenever somebody says, just breathe in deeply, and whenever somebody does this, you just intuitively follow along. Like I'm over here like, can they hear me breathing on this mic? I can't help it. Yeah, I feel better. What are some of the common, and I know this is going to change, by the way, from person to person, organization, and obviously depending on age, a lot of different factors there. So again, don't want to oversimplify that, but I do know that you know with the amount of people you've worked with your background, the amount you've studied, I do know certain themes tend to arise. What do you find are some of the themes in a lot of leaders out there that have been high performing? Because obviously, like what you said, in terms of what employee feedback says versus the leader's opinion or perception of what they think is going on are highly skewed. What do you find are some of the common themes of things that are holding back that leader from really taking their business to the next level?
Well, I think one thing that comes to mind when you ask that is that a lot of leaders feel very isolated. They don't have a strong support system around them, or they don't feel like there are people within their organization that they can confide in because they don't feel like there's anyone else that can understand their circumstances. And so isolation can be a very difficult thing to overcome. And when you feel like you're working in a vacuum sometimes and that people don't relate to you, it can make you feel like an outsider, and that can increase your stress level. That can reduce the trust factor that's so critical to organizations who are trying to build up their synergy and their engagement with their team. So those types of things do come up frequently with a lot of organizations and a lot of leaders specifically. So I would say that's probably one of the first things to identify is that, sometimes we get into a bubble, Adam, and we just feel like nobody understands me. I'm all by myself. There's no one I can lean on. So you start doing, like you go into a chaotic brain where you're just ruminating over all the negative things that are, happening, and you start focusing in on all the negative, critical aspects of your business rather than thinking more long-term, more broad spectrum, and you stop being able to come up with creative solutions to really help your organization propel itself forward. So that's, I would say, one thing that definitely comes to mind whenever you ask that.
Man, that makes a lot of sense. And do you find that, and I'll tell you my bias up front, my bias is that a lot of times you have to get that support outside of the organization from a company like yours or another, and it's because sometimes there's certain amounts of professionalism, there's certain things, depend on the company culture, of course, and also you have to still kind of keep day-to-day operations going, and sometimes the amount of emotional intelligence you have to have in whomever you decide to confide in on both sides of the spectrum might be too much to bear. So that's where I'm like, outside coaches are amazing to me. I've always thought it was amazing, and I don't understand why more people that are executives don't hire them to really get, at the least to get out of their head. Is it possible, though, to do that internally also? I'm just curious to your thought process on that. So first thing first, I think people, executives especially, they're going to be in that, I don't even know if it's cocoon syndrome or what, but you're right, where like you get insulated and you don't have as many people to talk to about what's on your mind in the business. And I'm wondering, my bias is to say you always need outside coaches because you don't necessarily always, depending on the company culture, of course, and all that good stuff, it may not always be appropriate for you to share and or vent and or get the opinion of people internally based on kind of what you're grappling with in your mind. Do you think it's possible to create those relationships internally too, to have coaches within the construct of the workplace, or does it always have to be outside, or should it be a variation of the two? Just based on your background, what do you think about that?
Yeah, so I am, I think it's all dependent on the organization. And I love the idea of being able to be an outside coach that comes in because I feel like you have a much more objective look at the situation, and there's a lot less emotional connections to the outcome per se, but you obviously want your clients to succeed no matter what. So it's imperative that as an outside coach that you're helping your teams and your organizations grow, right? Internally, though, I think it's such an amazing thing when companies can fully develop internal coaching because what we're finding is that people, especially leaders, who are able to utilize some, if not all, the coaching techniques and tools that are out there to help develop their leadership bench, the future of their organization, it just creates a huge momentum and a really strong core system that really helps people understand their value. And people want to know that they're valued, Adam. They you could throw $1 million at so many people, and that's going to be great for a little while. But at some point, there's going to be that drop moment where they're like, you know what, the money's just not worth it. I'm not valued here. Nobody respects me, or I don't respect the people I'm working with. So company culture and engagement has huge value long term in terms of revenue in your business. So if you can, as an organization, find a way to include internal coaching as part of your leadership and development programs, I think that's exceptional. I'm in huge favor of doing that.
That's awesome. And Nasyim, I could talk to you all day about this stuff. I already know it, but it's about our time for today. So, but if somebody wants to, if they want to continue the conversation and to learn more about either the programs you came out with, or about Omni coaching in general, what's the best way for them to follow up?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn, so reach out LinkedIn or our website, omnicoaching.com, and we are absolutely here and available for you.
Awesome. Well, hey, Nasyim, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great work that you're doing over at Omni Coaching. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store, do all those great things we do to support our podcasters. I really do appreciate it. And Nasyim, thanks again for coming on the show.
My pleasure, Adam. Thank you so much.